Hello and welcome to the third video in the INAV for Beginners 2026 series. So far I've explained what INAV is, why you might want it, and last time we spent quite a bit of time putting all the basics together, flashing the Maytech flight controller, adding the radio with both Express LRS and also more traditional S-Bus based systems, and we put the GPS in as well. This time it's about putting all of the pieces inside this Dolphin. We need to mount everything inside. We also need to figure out the power system, because obviously we'll need a cable coming down here into the battery bay, and we'll also need a cable that's going to provide power up to the ESC at the back. Now, for those of you that have been interested in this, I have already actually done a video on how you install servos. I know lots of you have asked me about that, so I've made a video. It's in this playlist. Check that out if you're not sure and you haven't played a lot with servos, particularly if you're coming to wings from things like quads. I've also got the ESC here at the back. It's way over spec'd for this model, but it was the one that I could get my hands on. It's a beautiful TBS, very high voltage, high amperage ESC, which should handle the demands of this model standing on its head. Again, I talked about the pieces that I'm using here. The video is in the playlist again. So EMAC servos, all these bits and pieces, the flight controller, and as much as I could buy, what I've actually got from 3DXR. 3DXR are a local store here in the UK, based in the northeast of England, and they tend to have huge supplies and stocks of stuff. They're one of those that's off the beaten path a little bit. They're much more well known than they used to be. But I tend to find that if I can't find things in stock, there's a good chance that 3DXR have a couple on a shelf somewhere, and that's where I ordered the pieces from. The Maytech flight controller that we've been looking at so far in the series, for example, was one of the last things that I ordered from 3DXR because they were one of the few that had any in stock. So this time we're going to go on the bench, going to figure out where everything's going to sit. We're going to then put everything in. We'll then go through the process of making sure the servos are moving in the right direction and we have the right travel, and also that the motor spins up and everything is working as well. And then at the end of that video, then we're in a really good place. We could go and fly it. I'll probably do one afterwards, which is where we'll set up the walk snail system in the nose. And then the last one will be taken to the field and give it a fly. So let's get on the bench. Let's have a look inside and try and figure out how everything is going to sit inside the model. Now, the wonderful thing about the Dolphin is that there is absolutely ridiculous amounts of room to put everything in here. Now, I've already put a power lead onto the ESC. That's just the way I like to do it here. We have the cable from the ESC ready to plug into the flight controller. I like to put my flight controllers as close to the center of gravity as I can. In a plane, it's not terrible if they're a little bit far away, so that's not an issue. This little board here can actually be moved forwards and backwards by undoing these screws, but this isn't bad. So what we have to do is have to figure out how we're going to get everything in here. Now, in my other Dolphin, which had the smaller ESC, I put the receiver at the back inside kind of these vertical stabilizers. And that protected the antennas, so that if it flipped upside down, the antennas were safe. It was these things that protected it. However, I want to keep as much weight as I can away from the back, because we have this relatively large, heavy ESC, and I also want potentially to put different motors on here as well if I want to play and change things around. So because of that, I kind of want to keep everything forward. I have managed to fit the ESC in here, hopefully you can see that okay, and still make it look pretty stock. I've had to cut out and modify a couple of little bits and pieces because of that size of the ESC, but I think that looks pretty neat. So what we need to do is just lay everything in. Now, we left it at the end of last time looking like this. If you remember, this is the front of the flight controller, so we have to put that facing forwards. My idea here is if we can put the flight controller and the receiver kind of side by side like that in the plane, then that means that the antennas from this X8R that I'm going to use could actually be mounted vertically in the foam here. I need to be careful because the reinforcing rod, the carbon fiber spar, goes through here, so we need to make sure we've got enough room. But I like the idea of having this here and then maybe having these in a position where they're kind of in the foam, but they're going to be protected a little bit as well. That means then I need a little power cable that's going to come back and plug into the ESC here at the back. That is going to plug beautifully into the first output, servo 1, which is what's been configured as the motor. So that looks good. The GPS actually could go this side. There's a little pocket here that it can fit in, so that would work really well. And then we have to have a power cable. Actually have one here that's pretty much pre-cut, going into the battery bay, coming all the way around here and going on the back. So I need to do a little bit more soldering and solder on those power connections so that we can have the input from the battery, and we also then have the output into the ESC. We could directly solder the ESC onto the flight controller. I quite like doing it this way. It allows me to move things around, and as models get retired, it's easier for me to pull this. So let me do all that. I'm going to connect everything using double-sided foam pads, these kind of things. It is dead easy. You just, kind of stick it on the bottom, peel it and stick it on. But let me just pause the video, fire up the soldering iron and connect everything. Oh, the only other thing I will do, there's a very large capacitor on the ESC. Because this is going to be a 6S model, there is another capacitor of that same size that came with this TBS ESC. I'm going to also pop that on the back of the flight controller too, just to avoid any issues with kind of noise and stuff. That means that when we plug it in, it'll spark, but it's probably safer for all the electronics like that. So I'm going to take this apart and do a little bit of soldering. So actually, before I put this in the model, let me just show you how I have connected all the power cables. The way this works is that this is going to be the power cable that's going to run forward into the battery compartment. I have this separate little flying lead here that's going to connect to the ESC, and there is that third little capacitor that, well, it's not that little actually, it's quite chunky, that's soldered onto the outputs. Now, I have done a video about soldering. I will put a link down below. I'm using a nice big soldering iron tip with some decent solder. This is actually the stuff that I use here. It's called Cynel Professional. It's actually got lead in it, so you can't use it for commercial production, but actually in terms of getting a really good, solid, good looking, strong joint, I think you can't really beat it. So now we have that done. Let me just get the double-sided foam tape, start sticking it all in the model, and I'll show you how it's all gone in. So there it is, all installed. It's so easy with these Dolphins to put everything inside. It's one of the reasons that I love them so much. Everything just goes together. Again, everything's been stuck in here with the 3M VHB tape. Fantastic stuff. You can get it in pads, you can get it in a whole roll. And just let me give you a quick whistle-stop tour. This has got the spar in. I'd always recommend make sure that the spar is in place when you're fitting things so that you don't accidentally put a cable in a place that you're going to regret. So, quick whistle stop tour. Obviously we have the flight controller with the front pointing towards the nose of the model. I have put one little cable tie, hopefully you can see that on the image here, around the capacitor and the lead going back to the ESC. That's all plugged into here. Receiver is by the side, stuck by the side with everything connected. Try and keep your leads nice and short. You don't want everything to be super tight, but you don't want lots and lots of leads kind of rolled up and zip tied together. That's a recipe for a bad setup. The ESC or the GPS is actually down here in the side. The cable is here. I keep these cables in place with just a very thin bead of hot glue that just keeps them away. Always try and keep signal cables away from power cables. Only, a centimetre, half an inch is more than enough to avoid any complication. The antennas is the only other thing I'll mention here. The antennas from the receiver go into this tunnel, and if you can see these little two black marks, that's actually the tip of the antennas. They are in here in a classic V configuration. In fact, you can probably just about pick up on the tape that I put on the model. In fact, you know what, let's take that off really now. This is just regular Scotch tape. I use it an awful lot on my builds because it comes off without damaging the foam, and it kind of allows me to just align things. because I guarantee the first time you test it, it's probably not going to be the right one. So just be aware of that. It's a tip that I use. I have used a couple of dabs of Yoo-hoo pour on the ends of these antennas, just to try and make sure that they are not going to move in and out, and everything is looking absolutely great. It's just so much room in here. Now we have that done, we can move on to the next step, and we're going to power it for the next bit, and we're going to plug the servos into the servo outputs. I would, while we're here, let's do one very brief thing. Let's check that with all the soldering of the power bits and pieces, I haven't messed anything up. So get your multimeter, stick it onto a resistance setting. Hopefully you can still see that on the screen. Yes, you can. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put the negative lead, with everything all connected up, onto the negative lead of the XT60, and we're going to put the positive lead on. Now what we want is for it it not to be a dead short. So it starts off as a dead short, and then it charges those two huge capacitors. We see this kind of behavior. This is exactly what we want to see. That is great. So that means that the system is happy. I haven't got any dead shorts. We can move on to the next bit, and I can plug the servos in. So with the wings connected, we're now ready to actually connect everything up. Now, if you remember that this is servo 3, this is servo 4, we saw that in this part of the INAV configurator, but if you're not sure about it, you can always just plug it quickly back into INAV and have a quick look. However, my top tip is that I always try and write on the connectors what they are, so I know which way round they're going to go. I have taken the precaution of unplugging the ESC so it isn't powered for this bit. We have already tested that it should always be tickety-boo in terms of shorts for the power, because we aren't going to plug the battery in. So I'm going to plug this wing into S3. We're going to plug this into S4, making sure that the polarity is the right way around. And then we can actually power everything up. Let's power on the radio.
Welcome to OpenTX.
We can plug in a battery. I would recommend, when you're doing this on the bench, if you're relatively new to this, get yourself something like this. This is the ViFly Smart Short Saver 2. This allows you to kind of put it in between your battery and your model, and if something nasty happens, it'll disconnect the power. I use this a lot on stuff, but I'm pretty confident with this. So we're going to plug it in straight away, and we should see everything burst into life. So we are ready. Let's plug it into the computer, just have a look at everything, make sure everything's happy. The radio may complain a little bit by the side, because we obviously do have the antennas quite close. Now, nothing's moving and nothing's burst into life because we need to actually enable the outputs. So if we go into the outputs tab, by default it's turned off. This catches a lot of pilots out. So what we're going to do is we're going to enable it. We'll set the ESC protocol to be DShot 300. That's because that's something that this speed controller can support. If it does support DShot, turn it on. Life gets a lot easier. We can set the servo refresh rate. It's 50 Hz by default. I'm setting it to 100 Hz because these are beautiful Emax digital servos. I'm going to click on save and reboot. When it comes back up, you will see the servos, when it's rebooted, will just jitter slightly as, there we go, as the power is applied. Now we're in this condition, we can hear servos buzzing and stuff because the cable's leaning against them. We can actually try and move stuff. Now I'll try and do this with the radio in shot. So I'm going to pull the stick down. Actually, the best thing to do with this, you know what, is actually is have it in manual mode.
Telemetry recovered. Telemetry lost.
I don't know if you can see, but that servo
telemetry recovered
is okay. This servo is wrong, pretty typical. So all we need to do is go down in INAV, reverse the right servo. So if you remember, it's this servo on this side. So we're just going to reverse it. We'll click on save. We can enable live mode, because also now if I just pull the stick down again, they're both moving in the right amount.
Recovered. Sensor lost. Sensor lost.
So the other thing we can do while we're here is we can just check the midpoints for each of the control surfaces. They are slightly out. Now I've actually measured these already with the servo checker when I installed them, so I know the numbers. So that one's 1440, click on save. They should now be level with the backs of the wings, that's great. When we fly it for the first time in an angle mode, it is going to trim these control surfaces, but we'll get it as close as we possibly can. That looks really, really happy, really good with that. The last thing to do, of course, is to check the amount of throw. Again, we are in manual mode. If you look in the modes, we can see that manual is selected. Jump back in outputs. At the moment, we have 100% rate. I'm just going to move the controls side to side.
Telemetry lost.
I'm pretty happy with that. That looks good.
Telemetry recovered.
If it isn't great, fix it mechanically as best you can, and then just use the rates here in INAV to just fine tune everything. But I'm going to keep it on those rates, so we're in really good shape. So with all that saved, then now we are in the last bit. We're going to check that the motor is going to run. So I'm going to disconnect from the model, unplug it from the computer. We're going to disconnect the power. We don't need the radio on for this bit. We can turn that off. You're going to plug in the power for the ESC. And what we'll do is we will then get everything ready to fire up the motor. So let's plug the battery in again. So there's the ESC initializing. We're going to plug everything back into the computer. We're going to click on connect, and in the output tab, we're going to go down here and we're going to click on I understand the risks, because what we're going to do is we're going to raise the master throttle and we're going to hopefully see the motor start running. And it is. Perfect. So that is fantastic. That means that everything is working, everything's wired correctly. We are really, really good at this point. So we know the servos are working, we know the motor's all tickety-boo, everything's been installed, it's all wired together, I haven't got anything backwards. Yeah, we're in really good shape. So now with all the electronics installed, the next video then is probably a quick one just showing you how to install Walksnail. All the pieces that I have 3D printed for this, I've made a few specific custom parts. I will share on Thingiverse, so I'll put a link down below if you want to go and check it out. But let me show you how to do something like Walksnail. It's a very similar setup for if it's DJI 04, whether it's HD0 or one of the other systems. And then once we've got that last video out the way, we can take it to the field and give it a maiden flight. Thanks for watching. Do stay tuned. A couple of videos to go. Thank you for watching my video. Check out the playlist, and adding Painless 360 to your search terms will help you find my content. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. You can support the time I spend here answering questions and helping others by using the links in the video description.